Hey, everybody, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. EGD. What are we talking about today?
I have a quote today.
All right.
A conscious relationship is one that is built on healthy agreements, said by Jay Shetty.
Oh, Jay Shetty.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
So let's talk about the distinction between agreements and expectations.
Agreements and expectations. So he says a conscious relationship. And so ultimately I want to start on that piece because that's what we talk about a lot as leaders is we want to be making conscious choices, intentional choices. But we really have to be conscious of everything around that choice, right? We have to understand the whole spectrum of stuff we're dealing with, not just the problem in front of us. So if we want to have a conscious relationship, it's built on healthy agreements. And we get into a lot the idea of agreements versus expectations because every leadership book in the world will tell you got to have clear expectations for your people. If you're not clear on your expectations, then they're going to wander off, right? I think that they're right about the clear part. They're not right about the expectations part.
Okay.
When you think about expectations, they don't actually feel very good. It is I am coming down from on high with the stone tablets of expectations for you to live up to.
Yeah.
You are underneath that. And it doesn't feel great. And honestly, if you think about the 10 Commandments, even not to get religious about it, but we're not great at upholding those because those are expectations, right? And so we have to think about that is expectations never feel great. That's part of why we enter into this rhythm, which is kind of this rise and fall rhythm. So if I give you expectations, you're going to go, great. Okay, yes, I will live up to these. And you do. You meet them. And we're rising, we're meeting the expectations, great. Then something happens. Stress happens. Whatever it is, you get busy. You forget about them. And eventually you fall off. You stop doing. And now we're in a trough, right? Now, usually what happens down there is sometimes a leader will come back and go, hey, don't forget about the expectations. Oh, yeah. And you rise again. And then you forget about them again and you fall. And part of that is because that expectation, it doesn't feel good, and we don't always agree with it.
It's something that you created and gave to me so that I'm just supposed to remember and keep doing it. But it's not a priority for me, really,
it's
because
probably
I didn't
not.
have any part of it.
Yes. This is why I think most performance improvement plans don't work, because it really is, I have created this list of expectations for you. You go meet them. And then we just kind of back off. We stop engaging. People fall off. They're unable to do it, and we get rid of them, right? I think that's wise because it is essentially expectations. The other side of this is agreements. And I think the more we see teams deploy agreements, the more we see special things happen. Because an agreement is not, here's what I think you should do. Agreements are co-created. And we talked a little bit last episode about co-creation. It is, hey, we need to get something done. We need to do a new thing. What do you think we should do?
Right, and you're bringing to the table the weight of the decision, the final decision,
the final choice,
right?
yes.
That's there,
Yep.
But then I get to have an opinion on that, and I get to put my
Help shape
ideas
it.
into it.
Absolutely.
And then I am a co-creator. I am somebody who has put a piece of it together so that I agree, and I was there for that conversation too. So then whenever I'm going to meet those expectations and uphold these agreements, right?
Yes.
I remember it, and it's a part of my brain because I'm like, I helped.
Well, and it's your thing. It's not just somebody else's. It is, yes,
It's not just remembering, yeah, let me go check the paper that we wrote down stuff. You know, it's like I have some more power in that.
Yeah, and I think that's the distinction is it gives us more agency. Therefore, we're more bought in, which is kind of what we talked about last time. We're more likely to live up to it. We're more likely to actually make it happen consistently. And then the next piece of this is actually when you have an agreement, there's this, we have to be committed to it, right? And so once we generate an agreement together, now are we committed to it or not? And there's a distinction between commitment versus involvement. And we always laugh about this because the way to think about this is think about your breakfast. If you had bacon and eggs, well, with the eggs, the chicken was involved in your breakfast. It contributed, but it was just there, and now it's still a chicken. The pig was really committed. The pig was all in. The pig's like, I'm giving you literally me to make this breakfast happen.
Thank you, pig.
But it's that, thank you, pig. God, we love bacon so much. But it is, and this is where I always tell people, like, be the pig.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, if we are committed, we are all in. We are body and soul. We've got this. We're going to make this happen. That commitment then allows us to usually live out agreements far more consistently than just a set of expectations.
And you're getting more out of it, right? You're getting
Yes.
out of it what you put into it. Well, the pig's not, but
Be the pig.
but thank you for the bacon.
So, and here's the next piece that where this really becomes helpful is agreements give us kind of a framework then for accountability.
Yeah.
So if I just give you an expectation, you don't meet it, and I point back to it and go, don't forget this, it's actually not generating anything good because you're going, oh, yeah, I forgot about the stupid expectation, you know? And so you are going to meet it for a while, but you're going to fall off again.
Yeah.
When we have an agreement and we have commitment, then that accountability looks like, hey, we created this. Remember that? Yeah, I remember when we created it. You've kind of wandered off a little, and you're committed to it. And I saw that in the moment. You did commit to it. That has more weight
on me.
Yes, but you've kind of wandered off. Tell me what's going on. Help me understand that. And that becomes a totally different conversation. You go, oh man, you're right. I did commit to this, and now I need to make it right. I need to make everybody whole. Mm-hmm. And so part of that commitment is, okay, when we don't do this well, because we're human, we're going to mess things up. So when we don't live up to the agreement well, what do we do? Mm-hmm. And that what do we do becomes this framework for accountability where we're more likely to do it. We're more likely to hold the person accountable because ultimately we have an easy way to do that. To say, hey, don't forget. And we're pointing back to it in a way that is less accusatory and more.
It's not an annoying reminder.
Together.
It's like,
yeah,
we had this together.
100%. And it makes such a difference as far as how we deal with things. Because otherwise, if you look at the rise and fall of expectations, we're meeting them, we're not. We're meeting them, we're not. Mm-hmm. When we're down in that trough, it is so frustrating as the leader because we're going, I told them about this. Do they not remember this? Well, no, they don't. And so that in that trough, usually we don't handle that well. We end up blowing up. Something goes bad. With the expectations, that's how it usually goes. With the agreements and the commitment and the framework for accountability, now we can talk about it in a healthy way where it's not a blow up. It's not a wait till I get so frustrated I say something.
Well, you've both agreed on the words too. You agreed on what you were going to do and how you were going to do it. And so now when it's not done, you can come back in and say, here's the words we agreed on.
Yeah.
So where are we at?
That's it. And I think that's what when old Jay Shetty, when he says a conscious relationship is one that's built on healthy agreements, I think this is how that applies to leadership and how that applies to business. Mm-hmm. In any kind of organization, if we are building healthy agreements, we're co-creating together, we're committing, we're holding each other accountable as a team, now we're all moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
And there is something truly beautiful about that. And I just see it's so much more effective. So
I agree.
If you agree, are you committed to that agreement?
Yes.
If you are one that struggles with people meeting expectations, if you have experienced that rise and that fall, I think the practical takeaway is to go create an agreement instead. Ask their opinion. How should this work? What do you think? Have them co-create, generate that commitment, and then generate that accountability that comes from that. You're going to see so much more consistent results than just with expectations. All right, Emily, if anyone wants to send us their thoughts on agreements versus expectations, their quotes, their questions, whatever they've got, where do they send that to?
lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find us on the socials where we are constantly talking about these ideas, where do they find us?
@ForwardPartner.
@ForwardPartner, all the major socials. Emily, thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
I'm having a blast doing these, by the way. We were so excited to launch a podcast, and now I feel like we're in a rhythm. We're in this is something we're doing, and I'm having a blast with it.
Me too.
Danny, thank you for producing Wilco Workspaces. Thank you for hosting this and partnering with us on this. Thank you for watching. It genuinely means the world to us. I say that a lot, and I mean it every single time. If you are taking any time out of your day to say, man, I need to develop, I need to learn and grow, and you chose us as a vehicle for that, thank you. You are allowing us to live out our impact. Hopefully it impacts your leadership and your people. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.